I know when we did first doses, we were told this age group is eligible to book. And now we've got people who say they are 9 weeks out and still don't have an invitation. So is it roughly going by age group? Are people getting invitations based on what their first dose was, with the date? Just wondering if you can shed a bit more light on that. And also if you have a general sense of how long it's basically taking from the time you get your invitation to book to actually getting your shot.
Yeah, so thanks. And in general, yes, it's we prioritize people based on age. As you know, we had a shorter interval to start with, and then we extended the interval to up to 16 weeks. And so there was a large group of people, particularly in long-term care homes, who had already got their second doses before we ended up extending the interval. So it really is based on age, with the priority going to those who are the longest from receiving their second dose. So that does mean that for some people, where the goal is to get invites out to people by week 7 in particular, or week 8, so that you can get booked within the next week to 2 weeks. So for most people right now, it's around week 10, although there's some people, as I mentioned, who received their vaccines in March who are waiting a longer period of time. In most parts of the province now, the wait is less than a week, but in some places where there's been a lot more people anxious to get immunized, the wait can be as long as 2 weeks. But with the new vaccine that we have coming, hopefully at the end of this week with Moderna, we can augment our clinics and be able to move people up. So the goal is to get an invite out to people by week 6 to 7 so that they can be immunized around week 8 or 9. So that's how we plan to progress by the time we get through the next few weeks.
Dr. Henry, you mentioned that there's benefit for waiting a little longer. I'm sure you get a bazillion of these. I get a few of the questions from people, especially getting AstraZeneca. Should they wait longer? Should they get it at their 12 weeks? In places like here on the island where the wait for your second Pfizer can be up to a month, should they just go for the AstraZeneca? I think there's just people are feeling like there's a lot of decision making in their own hands, and they don't necessarily feel like they're up to the challenge of making the right choice.
Yeah, it is really difficult. I understand that, and the wait times will be coming down for the mRNA vaccines from the mass clinics, so that will help a little bit. But yes, it is reasonable to wait for 12 weeks for AstraZeneca, particularly if you're in a community where there's low rates of transmission. So it is a little bit dependent on where you live and which vaccine you can access sooner. So here on the island, as you say, the waits in our clinics tend to be a little bit longer, but those will come down too. The other thing that I'll say for people with who received AstraZeneca is that we will have more information from the UK by the end of June. So if your 12 weeks isn't up before the end of June, that can be helpful. I can't give you a definitive answer right now about whether it's the same or better to receive an mRNA vaccine after a first dose of AstraZeneca. I can tell you that it's not worse and that there's what we call non-inferiority, which is kind of a funny way of saying in the medical terms that they're at least as good as receiving a second dose of AstraZeneca. So if you are at least concerned a little bit, you can wait, or you can just make the choice about whichever vaccine comes up first for you.